I'd like to invite our President, Nicholas Cooper, to address the meeting.
Charlie, thank you very much. It's a long speech. Don't worry, it's not that long. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see so many of you here today. The theme of my first speech as ROA President is unity. During my time on the ROA board, and now as President, it has already become apparent to me that everyone and every organisation within British racing is ultimately better off when they are working together. Of course, you can't always see eye to eye with those representing other bodies around the boardroom table, and neither should you. But the business of racing is like so many others. As in a game of chess, your first move is not always going to reap the greatest benefit. But if you can foresee the effect of that initial step several moves on, you often find the eventual benefit is much greater. Take our relationship with the racecourses. Yes, of course, owners want racecourses to put lots of money into prize money. And the ROA has rightly been unremitting over the years in banging on their door, especially in these days of growing income from media rights. But we also have to acknowledge that racecourses have to be successful, and they can only be successful if they invest in infrastructure, building, and facilities, as well as prize money. You will know, of course, that owners' racecourse facilities is a subject very close to our hearts. And I believe the enormous amount of work the ROA has carried out with racecourses in recent years has ensured the owner's race day experience is a lot better than it used to be. As a result of the ROA's Gold Standard Awards, competition between racecourses has driven up standards and will continue to do so. It is all part of a much improved relationship between the owners and the racecourses, and this has been essential to getting the new members' agreement across the line. The agreement has seen racing's key stakeholders working together in a way we could have only dreamt of a decade ago. It means that horsemen, racecourses, and the sport's governing authority are at last working together for the common good of the sport. This is now a universal understanding that improving the economics of ownership is central to how we can improve British racing. It will increase the number of horses in training, which in turn will increase the number of races and fixtures. If handled in the right way, it will also improve the competition in racing through race planning initiatives. Good for the spectator, good for betting, and on a wider scale, good for employment and the green economy, so everybody effectively wins. Obviously, all this is still very much work in progress. There is no silver bullet, but the BHA, working with other racing constituents, have a strategy for growth, and at the heart of this is the vital role played by us, the racehorse owners. The importance of making this strategy work is underlined by the fact that the number of active owners has declined 17% in the past 8 years. And only very recently are we seeing this decline starting to be reversed. The BHA strategy aspires to produce at least another 1,000 horses in training by 2020, bringing the total to above 15,000. To do this, we not only have to find ways of retaining existing owners, but we also have to try to encourage them to have more horses in training. And above all, we have to find the holy grail that sees more new owners entering into the sport. But this growth must be driven by proper market forces, to achieve a gradual increase of horses in training, while at the same time we must maintain the overall quality of the UK horse population and guard against producing a lot of really moderate horses just to make up the numbers. Of course, when we talk about racehorse owners, there is a significant difference in what motivates, say, the owner-breeder from the person who owns a share in a syndicate horse with friends. But whatever their differences, almost all of them are going to be affected by the economics of the sport, and usually this will reflect in the number of horses they own. Prize money, however, is not the only consideration, and it is good to know there is now a lot of work going on to encourage with owners to promote racehorse ownership and, very importantly, ownership administration. On the last point, racing is working with Weatherby's to simplify and declutter the administrative burden on owners. I'm sure some people new to racing are put off by endless letters and complicated, illogical fee structures. In these days when almost everyone is computer literate to a degree, we must use the internet to full effect to produce a new, efficient way for people to enter into racehorse ownership and be encouraged to stay there. Which brings us nicely on to group ownership. It has almost become a cliche to say the future of racehorse ownership lies in group ownership, but it is nonetheless largely true. It is why the ROA has assisted and supported racing's new nationwide campaign, built around experiencing the thrill of owning a racehorse via syndication. This campaign will involve the development of online central ownership hub that illustrates the adventure that surrounds owning a racehorse and explain how to get involved. And in the spirit of unity, racecourses have agreed to play their part in promoting ownership to racegoers. There is more. To ensure transparency, a much needed code of conduct for syndicates is being drawn up by the BHA. While the biggest ever survey of owners was recently launched by the ROA and the BHA, working with sporting data experts, 2 circles. It's set to find out answers to some fundamental questions. What makes people become owners? What has been their ownership experience? And why do they leave? We will know a lot more from the results of this survey within the next few months, but one of the early findings I can report is that ROA members are more likely to remain in ownership for longer. The average duration of ownership for a registered owner is 4.7 years, compared to 6.5 years as an ROA member. While all this activity shows horsemen, racecourses, and governing authority working together, I believe we could get even closer if the racecourses as a group agreed to give the BHA more control on when a fixture takes place and how the race program for that fixture is made up. Of course, this would necessitate building in a range of safeguards for racecourses and horsemen, but in the end, I believe everyone would be better off. Only the governing authority is in a position to stand above individual racecourses and racehorse groups. In fact, to stand above all the interest groups, to make objective judgments while pulling all the many strings together on fixtures and the race program. Racing could then end the ludicrous geographical clashes of meetings, and the allocation of fixtures could be based on a system that creates maximum benefit for the sport as a whole. Because it's so long, I get a little break. And that was very good. while spreading the horse population in such a way that very small fields and uncompetitive racing would be a thing of the past. But whatever the future holds in that area, there is no doubt racing's new relationship has allowed us to send the right message to government. And the government has in turn given us the support we so desperately need to alter the sports funding structure. Of course, with the UK now embarking on the process of leaving the EU, we cannot pretend the racing industry will be immune to the changes about to unfold in the country. I'm not the first to point out, however, that it was European state aid legislation that provided the underlying reason for racing not receiving its full income from betting, and when that legislation is swept away through the reforms of the levy replacement, we can look forward to an estimated leakage of 30 million plus per annum being returned to British racing. We can also look forward to setting up of a horse racing authority for the purpose of distributing central funding throughout racing, without the sort of bookmaker involvement that has so illogically been pivotal to the levy system for the past 60 years. We can also look forward to putting together a serious plan for the tote, so that British racing, working as one, obtains a pool betting licence when Betfred's exclusive licence expires in 2018. Last, but by no means least, I would like to congratulate Racing Welfare for creating this week a Stable Staff Week. Yes, the ROA does recognise the extraordinary contribution made to this industry by stable staff, whose association are an important and valued member of the Horsemen's Group. They, like all horsemen, also recognise the importance of the trickle-down effect from prize money and the importance not just of maximising prize money, but also of putting the industry on the best possible financial footing for the sake of racing's whole workforce. All of this and much more is possible when you have unity and you're unified. Thank you very much.